Hello everyone! Today we have a special video. It's the one where I reached 3000 rating as a Brewmaster monk, pugging everything, and as a Master of Harmony as well. Let me tell you that it was a bit rough. So stick around to the end of the video or skip to the end for more thoughts and kind of rants about this season. Now, this is my route. Same thing as the 12, 13, 14, nothing really's changed. And these are my talents. I've been experimenting, so I'll explain a little bit. I took Celestial Flames just so that whenever it procs from all the Purifying Brew and Celestial Brew usage, I could Spinning Jade Kick to apply Breath of Fire to all of the targets and get an automatic 10% damage reduction. I took Scalding Brew, but I might take Salabims just so that I can have Breath of Fire up whenever I need it and combo it with a Blackout Kick to get 15% damage reduction instead of 10. And of course, this is my gear. I got the Empowering Crystal of Anub'zekt, the mythic version, along with the mythic aggression module. I use those two. These are the gems I have on the Earthen Ring and on the Cersei Circlet. 26% versatility, 29% with the druid in my group and with the flask. So here we go. As you can see, pretty standard pull. Something happens at the start of the pull. I'll timestamp it so that people can kind of go back and watch it. But I want to say it was my fault, like the red pointed it out. But this is pretty much a standard pull. Again, we're brewmasters. Our pulls are gonna vary a little bit because unless you're in a group with comms, you're not gonna be able to pull it all the way to the first mini boss without something bad happening. So always play it safe. You don't need to pull all the way to the first mini boss. You can stop here and pull as many of the mobs around you as you can, following the route that I showed in the beginning. So here, interrupted this. I'm trying to pull it towards the first mini boss, but I noticed that they're still fighting the crawler back there. So I kind of just hang on to it here. Good of the Boomy to drop that silence. Blackoxx statue, really good for AoE threat. And here I pulled the boss. Now, it's starting to look a little bit crazy. And it seems like they're pulling threat, and then new mobs are coming, and then somebody pulled that attendant to the side. Normally I try to paralyze this one, and the fear goes off.
I simply wish you had lasted a
So
little longer.
I was doing 100 things, and I wasn't paying attention to the mini boss, and the fear went out. So this being a pug, we all kind of just started getting a little bit tense. But the AUG was right. Sorry, not the red. The AUG was right. I probably should have focused. And then I'm telling them I was rounding everyone up. Okay, excuses don't really help that much, but I should have probably paid more attention. So we kind of reset, and I'm already worried because, as you know, in pugs, it's like you have one wipe and that's it. Everything's over. The key is bricked. But luckily, we decided to continue. Um, I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of did think about just like ending the run there because I didn't think we were gonna time it. But we kept going, and honestly, it was good on everybody's part to continue, despite the fact that we kind of wiped in the beginning there.
Interrupt. Frontal.
You can see my Celestial Brew was up at 3.5 million absorbs. I stacked up a lot of the Purifying Brew stacks. I do need to get that weak aura fixed though, because it doesn't tell me the proper value after a while. It just resets to 2. I don't know if that's a problem. There, the red pally died. I think probably because I moved and he was the closest one, so it just targeted him. So again, mistakes on my part again. And here, I'm trying to round all of these up, but I'm giving them my back. So I'm just like, I was a little bit just like all over the place right here. Knocked them into the silence. But I was already kind of half like giving up. I didn't know if I wanted to continue with the run. And then it seemed like, oh man, I'm just gonna die here. We're gonna wipe and that's it. I'm not even gonna bother.
Interrupt.
Just trying to get these interrupts. I'm getting low. I'm using every defensive. I'm out of defensives. So it gets a little bit crazy. Just something they do here is just ring a piece of crawlers, just to knock them away so they don't blow up on us. Chi burst all the line, get a good amount of damage in. So some of my pulls were probably a little bit questionable. They definitely probably would have gotten a lot of people killed if the healer wasn't so good. So gotta give a lot of credit to Foxwoods.
Frontal.
Here you can see that I have 2 crawlers on me. It's very dumb. I don't recommend you do this because, as you'll see right now, one of them actually blows up on me. I'm trying to knock them away, but one of them still ends up blowing up on me, and I'm getting pretty low right there.
Frontal. Frontal.
And again, I feel like I was impatient. I started to run away, but I remember, like, I just need to calm down. The Shiny is out of mana, and good thing that he said it. I would have just kept pulling, but I just held this pack here while the Shami um drank. Well, sadly he started to heal me, but after this pack I just gave him some time to drink.
I don't have a target.
So in my mind, at this point, I'm also kind of basing the run off of my 13, sorry. And if I remember correctly, in the 13, we killed the first boss by around the 8-minute mark.
Frontal.
So I'm already thinking we're already way behind. There's no way we're gonna catch up. The boss is should have been dead by now. It's going down, and we're still on the last mini boss to even get to the first one.
Interrupt.
But again, keeping my head calm. The damage is pretty good. Definitely red paladins carry real hard. This red pally was carrying hard. I think it was his key, so yeah.
Frontal.
I took Chi Torpedo by mistake. I was farming some raids for transmogs. I love transmogs. So they're letting me know about these ads, and I completely forgot about these, and they are part of the run. Not these flyers. They were just, I don't know. But these are part of the run, and I completely forgot to pull them because, again, I was just like, my mind was just everywhere when I was clearing the packs around here. Kind of already given up. So here I'm thinking, it's already 9 minutes. It's way past the 8-minute mark. Like, we're definitely not going to time it. But I didn't want to say anything. So I just tell them, you know what, lost them pull, and let's just get this,
Defensive.
let's just get this going, you know.
AOE incoming.
And again, something that I did before in my previous run is I pulled the boss a little bit closer
Defensive.
to the ads while also tossing out some off heals, just so that they can get a lot of damage on the ads and also the boss. There's not a lot of downtime because they don't have to run far and then come back. And you don't have to worry too much about it because the boss only eats
Defensive.
the ads after he does this ability, Gossamer Onslaught. After he does that, that's when he eats
AoE incoming.
the little spiders and deals the increasing damage. So you can keep him here and
Defensive.
just make sure that all of those crawlers are killed before the Gossamer Onslaught goes off. I also don't want to keep him too close, you know, I want to make sure that there's some distance just in case I need to throw out a ring of peace
Watch
and
your
knock
step.
him away. Here, this is pretty clever. Normally this
Defensive.
is what they do in pugs. I've seen it in videos, and I imagine they've seen it in videos, so they noticed that we were all stacked up, and we kind of moved together. A little bit wonky, but again, that's a pug. I mean, this is as good as it's gonna get.
Defensive.
And there, again, just throwing a ring of peace down just to keep him away. I don't want to, you know, wipe the group.
Watch your step.
Went in for a leg sweep. And so far, the damage is pretty good. I'm not even gonna lie, my damage needs a lot of work, but again, I'm a Master of Harmony, so my damage isn't gonna be that great compared to
AoE incoming.
a Shadow Pan Monk, but it's still pretty decent. Maybe without the Aug Evoker, it probably would have been closer to 400k instead of the 600k. Which I guess is not too bad, but still needs some work.
Watch your step.
And again, using the same Brewmaster tank combo. So you purify
Defensive.
or you celestial into a purify into an expel harm to get you topped off.
AoE incoming.
Here the eggs spawn all the way on the other side. So we're just pinging, you know what? Just stay on the boss. We'll kill it. Like the ads aren't gonna get here by the time he does the Gossamer Onslaught. And I already had Touch of Death ready, so if anything, good on the Evoker there to knock him away. And there, Touch of Death, and let's get it going. So here I'm thinking we have 19 minutes to clear all of this, the second boss, and then get to the last boss. So I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. And I started to pull a little bit more boldly. I'm like, you know what? If we're gonna go out, we're gonna go out in fire, in flames.
Frontal.
So I pulled the Blood Guard in. I'm taking quite a bit of damage, so use my leg sweep there defensively. Expel harm with five orbs, 5 healing spheres. Also, if you notice, I went back to the Blizzard party frames, the default UI, and I downloaded Omni CD just so that I can see the cooldowns that my teammates have. So I kind of try to pay attention to their cooldowns just so that I can pull bigger packs when I see that they have some of their offensive abilities. So right now, for example, the Aug has some of his on cooldown, and I'm going to kind of pay attention so that whenever I see that he has some of them off, I don't really know how augmented Aug Evokers work, but I'm kind of keeping an eye on his cooldowns.
Crowd control.
Red Pallies just do like crazy damage without any big cooldowns, I imagine.
Crowd control.
But again, it's a learning experience, so you know. Here I pulled all of this, and I think somebody pulls the Blood Guard. Yep. Somebody pulls the Blood Guard, so I have to taunt it, and then just let's just get it in there. And again, not a pull that I would normally do, but I kind of felt like I needed to speed it up because we were already behind. We were 6 deaths in, and I'm just really hoping that nobody else dies. So I'm tossing out as many off heals as I can. This was probably a little bit too bold here because
Frontal.
the Blood Guard is still up, and you know that he reduces the damage that any mobs around them take by 50%. And if we mess up with the stags, it's pretty much game over because that's going to be a raid wipe. We're not going to be able to deal with 2 Blood Guards and then all the other mobs. So here I'm pulling into the next group with the stag. Leg sweep. I'm just paying attention to the cast bar. I have my paralysis if I need to use anything, and I have Ring of Peace. Boomy though. Boomy with that silence. Awesome. Love it.
Crowd control.
And here, I knocked the stag into us just because I know that that patrol is there and that patrol will wipe us. It's a lot of casters. Here we're dealing with 3 and we're having a hard time. The poor Boomy died there. Trying to get interrupts, and I see this one and I'm just like, you know what? Let me just drag whatever I can over. Augie Volker, I can see why a lot of people run with them. They have so much utility, it's crazy. They're my warning my group not to run into that stag. And here I have 73% of my aspect of harmony. I forgot what it's called, but I had 73% of that, so that's roughly about 7.5 million damage saved up for this pull. So I used it. You know, it really helps. A lot of these pulls are like a little bit rough, I'm not gonna lie.
Crowd control.
I feel like I was taking a lot of damage. Here I had to use my paralysis on that one, my paralyze, just to make sure that the cast didn't go off.
Crowd
But I'm pretty sure
control.
that everybody else was kind of looking at it. And the damage, again, the damage is pretty good. That paladin, man, jeez, his damage is crazy. I wanted to run up and pull the next big mob, but I was afraid that he was going to cast a frontal and then just like wipe us. So, you know, like, there's a lot of stuff that you kind of got to take into consideration just because we're not communicating other than pings and stuff like that. So for these little ones, they do a lot of damage. So I drop a Ring of Peace on my healer and my caster, just so that when they try to jump into them, they'll bounce off.
Frontal.
Don't really know if that really helps a lot with damage mitigation for them, but you know, anything to kind of make their life easier, I guess. It would be nice to bring back the old Ring of Peace where you can cast it on a person and it would be like a AoE silence. I think that would be great.
Frontal.
I can't attack that target.
So something that I learned about this boss is that you want to tank it closer to this side, because if your teammates get targeted by the burrow and they get too close to the wall on the opposite side, the burrow will hit twice, and that's an automatic death.
Interrupt.
As you can see, he does it. I don't know how he got out of it, to be honest with you. But you can get hit twice, and you kind of don't want that to happen. Here we got lucky with this. The web mage was really close to the eye of the swarm.
Run out.
That's pretty much the whole fight. There's really not much to see here.
Interrupt.
Getting that boomy silence. Sure, it's on like a minute cooldown, but dang, it does so much.
Interrupt. Run out.
Trying not to get caught in the infestations. I've died to them in other runs. I think here everybody just started to get a little bit pumped up. There, Boomy almost died, but they managed to top him off. But everybody was pretty sure. I'm pretty sure everybody was getting pumped up here because we're thinking, man, we have about 10 minutes to
Interrupt.
get to the last boss. So I'm just trying to make it. I'm in my mind. I'm thinking if we can make it to the last boss
Run out.
with at least 6 minutes, 7 minutes, we're good because we can kill the last boss in about 4 minutes. So we're good. So I'm here. I'm ready to use Fortifying Brew with Touch of Death if I need to, just to execute. Didn't need to, but boom. There, the Og was saying, "Nice Todd, nice Touch of Death." Saves us a bit of time, I imagine. And now here also, I think we got a little bit lucky because I managed to pull all of this, and then
Watch your step.
the little flyers came by shortly after, and I was able to just get everything, just round everything up. This pool's a bit scary just because you can get slowed, and there again, I drop a Ring of Peace so that the carriers don't
Watch your step.
start to one-shot all of our healers and our ranged DPS, because the damage starts to add up.
Interrupt. Watch your step.
Out of range.
I just want all of these down so that I can keep moving. As you can
Interrupt.
see, 3 of them targeted the Og there, and he probably could have gotten
Watch your
2
step.
shot. So here again, the carriers, I see them, and I am not going to miss the opportunity to get them in. But I think they might have bugged a little bit just because they all couldn't get to me. And look at that, they all scattered. It was crazy. And there I am trying to round all of these up and trying not to get my team killed. And the Paladin, honestly, this whole team was awake. The Paladin using Blessing of Freedom to make sure that I don't get slowed, I don't get caught in anything. Definitely helpful. I could have used my Tiger's Lust, but again, if I don't need to use it, I'll save it for an emergency. So definitely the Red Paladin there helped out a lot.
I need to get closer.
Blackhawk statue there helping with threat. And now this, I learned my lesson. If you guys remember, I died here and almost caused a wipe. So, pulled them all to the ledge. See, that's part of the thing. You gotta learn. But also, almost died because we spawned a lot of extra ads.
Watch your step.
So, Fortifying Brew, Chi Burst, again, Blessing of Freedom from the Pally. Love it. And Chi Burst with 4 stacks of Stratagem. So, my Chi Burst did a lot of damage, and I probably only used it about 15 times throughout the whole run. So It's pretty impressive how much damage you can do after you stack up the stratagems, which is a Master of Harmony talent.
Watch your step.
Cheat Torpedo, I kind of like it, but I kind of don't. It travels way too far. Meanwhile, Roll just gets you out at the distance you kind of just need to be at.
Watch your step.
I'm just ready to spam Touch of Death to take out one of these. And here, look at that. 6 minutes on the timer almost. Well, 5 minutes. 5 minutes, 30 seconds on the timer. I know we can do it. It'll take us like 4 minutes. Drui's like, oh, mana. Sorry, Shaman is like, oh, we need mana. Never mind. Let's go. Telling them to lust as soon as it's up. And here we go.
Watch your step.
What definitely helped here was that everybody pretty much could cleanse
Watch your step.
the poison off. We could dispel our own poisons. The healer on on some occasions couldn't, so I kind of had to keep an eye on him. There again, everybody had their little black pool ready. Nobody did anything too crazy. You know, here I could just dispel it, and guess what? The team is awake. They're moving. They're dodging all this stuff, so that helps out a lot too. And pretty much this fight, all you have to kind of do is just go around collecting the bloods
Dispel.
so that they're not attacking your healer and your DPS. And your DPS is gonna pretty much kill the boss for you. You just have to make sure that there's no ads on anybody wrecking anybody, because once they have to go to the pool, they can't move. So they're pretty much like they're just free to get wrecked there pretty much. There I'm using Ring of Peace to free myself and anybody around me. Blackhawk statue, trying to get threat on everything. Paying attention to make sure I don't dispel on top of anyone.
Watch your step.
And the other thing is, again, after the second erupting web, you kind of want to position him in the middle or away from the black pools, just so that the AoE doesn't hit anyone who decides to stand in the pool that's close to him.
Watch your step.
There, the healer was getting really low because he couldn't get the poison
Use
cleanse.
the pool.
So again, I tanked him over to the edge just so that he wouldn't be in the middle and potentially hit someone with the AoE.
Watch your
It's
step.
just little things like that that kind of make it easier in everyone, so nobody has to worry about where they have to stand. Cheat torpedoed away and cleanse just so nobody would get hit. Worked out pretty well. And I'm just going around collecting them. That's it. That's all I did.
Watch your step.
It works out so much easier when everybody can cleanse off themselves or know how to dodge the slime waves. Look at that. There we were all kind of stacked and we still managed to cleanse and nobody died. I do remember when I was farming mythics, I was trying to get the 626 mythic version of the Harvester's Interdiction. So I ran this specific mythic like 19 times and it finally dropped. There was one run where we had 60 deaths and we just couldn't do it. I mean, people were not able to dodge the slimes.
Watch your step.
And as much as I wanted to help them, we weren't going to get it done. I just gave up. But 60 deaths? Oh god. It's horrible. They're just easily dodging the slime waves. You just gotta pay attention. Pay a little bit of attention. Don't panic too much. I know it can be stressful. I hate Cheat Torpedo, but honestly, here, for this run, yeah, it definitely helped for gaining some distance. I will say though that I wanted to do the transcendence thing. So pretty much what you do is you put your transcendence at the edge, like I did there. You can see it on the top, that little green outline. And as soon as he pulls you in, you
Watch your
transcend so
step.
you can switch positions, and you don't get hit by the AoE. I'll have to try it on a lower mythic. I don't want to break anybody's key trying to experiment on things. And that's it. Touch of Death and 3000 rating. Finally. Finally. From the last video uploaded until this one, I've applied to so many mythics and I couldn't get into any of them. And I'll show you why. And it's part of the reason why I think that Brewmasters kind of need a rework or at least some kind of tuning just so that we aren't squishy. Now, we don't have to be a meta tank, but still, just so that there's more diversity in tanks in these mythic keys, so that stuff doesn't just look like this, where like everybody wants a prod paladin and nothing else, and then everybody else gets declined. I had to apply to a lot of keys to finally get to 3000 rating, but it is what it is, and I'm kind of happy I got it, especially as a brewmaster with Master of Harmony. My damage isn't that bad. Could be a lot better, maybe. I need to work on that, work on my rotation more, like I've always say. But thank you guys for watching the video. I'm kind of happy that I got 3000 rating. It was quite a journey. Took me a while, but I'm kind of happy that I managed to get it. I'll probably hold off on mythics just so that I can see what season 2 brings, and I can be a little bit more prepared for that. So thank you so much, guys, and see you in the next video. Take care.